Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 raised more than a few questions, and Triple H did his best to answer as many as possible. However, the game was reluctant about one thing in particular and refused to make a major change to the product. Lately, WWE premium live events are getting an extension by becoming two-night events. SummerSlam is the prime example of this, as the company announced two-night events in advance. It won't be a surprise if more shows join the list, but Triple H recently refused to make a major change to the format. During the Elimination Chamber post-show press conference, Triple H addressed a question from the reporter when he was asked if more PLEs could become two-night events. The game started with a joke that he can't do two-night events every month, but he explained his decision behind rejecting the idea, as it would eventually take the special quality out of the events if it happens every month. A few years ago, Triple H entered the illustrious list alongside his friends when D-Generation X was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. However, the game didn't receive his sole induction as he had already retired from in-ring competition. Earlier this year, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels decided to change that and had a surprise for Triple H at one of their town hall meetings. The two legends revealed that the Cerebral Assassin will enter this year's Hall of Fame in Las Vegas. Later, Stephanie McMahon appeared on the stage to congratulate her husband. A few weeks later, Michelle McCool was also announced as one of the veterans who would enter the illustrious list at the event. In the world of professional wrestling, where spectacle and storytelling intertwine, there are few figures as iconic as Triple H. Paul Levesque, known in the squared circle as Triple H, has earned his place in WWE history both as a wrestler and as an executive. His influence over the direction of WWE is undeniable, with many viewing him as the steward of its future. Yet, even with all this power and control, he remains a figure who is often scrutinized for his decision-making and ability to balance tradition with innovation. One of the most pivotal moments of his tenure as the head of WWE Creative came after the 2025 WWE Elimination Chamber event. The show, which is known for its brutal, high-stakes matches inside the unforgiving steel chamber, had a number of surprising outcomes and moments that stirred up passionate reactions from the WWE universe. Fans were expecting changes, be it in the storylines, the pacing of the shows, or perhaps even a shift in the overall direction of WWE. However, Triple H's refusal to make a major change in the aftermath of the event sparked controversy and an intense debate about the future of WWE under his leadership. The aftermath of WWE Elimination Chamber 2025. WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 had set the stage for what many believed would be an era-defining shift in the company's direction. Major title defenses, the return of legendary figures, and high-stakes rivalries all seemed to be aligning for a major shakeup in the WWE universe. With Elimination Chamber being a precursor to the much-anticipated WrestleMania, expectations were running high, particularly in terms of what the outcome of the matches would imply for the creative direction of the promotion. Several results from the event were met with mixed reactions. Roman Reigns, who had been the Universal Champion for over 3 years, successfully retained his title, but the match itself was met with criticism for its pacing and lack of innovation. The show-stealing contest between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley was lauded for its athleticism and storytelling. But the ending was controversial, leaving fans divided over whether the decision was the right one. Meanwhile, the men's Elimination Chamber match, which promised to shake up the Intercontinental Championship scene, ended in a controversial disqualification after a heated brawl that was abruptly stopped by the referee. These outcomes left many fans wondering what was next for WWE and how Triple H, now firmly in charge of creative decisions, would react. Some speculated that the dissatisfaction with the event would lead to sweeping changes, whether it be in the way matches were booked, the way storylines were constructed, or the introduction of new faces into the main event scene. However, much to the surprise of many, Triple H chose not to make any major changes after the event. Despite the criticism from fans and pundits alike, he stood firm in his belief that WWE's current direction was the right one. His decision to not immediately shift course or drastically alter the product was both a reflection of his confidence in the company's long-term vision and a demonstration of his deep understanding of the wrestling business. Triple H's approach to WWE's creative direction. To understand why Triple H resisted calls for change, it's essential to look at his overall approach to WWE's creative direction. As a wrestler, Triple H was always known for his meticulous planning, his attention to detail, and his commitment to long-term storytelling. These traits have carried over into his role as the head of WWE's creative team. Under his leadership, WWE has shifted toward a more methodical approach to booking and talent development. The aim has been to build stories and rivalries that unfold over time, rather than relying on short-term shock value to please the audience. Triple H's approach has always been about developing talent and giving them the space to grow. This is particularly evident in his work with NXT, which he oversaw for many years before being promoted to the main roster. NXT became a breeding ground for future WWE superstars, with an emphasis on in-ring talent, storytelling, and developing well-rounded characters. This philosophy has been a major influence on how he has shaped the WWE product since his promotion to the head of creative. In his eyes, the business of professional wrestling is not about following fleeting trends or constantly changing the product to suit the whims of the moment. Instead, Triple H believes in creating a foundation for WWE that will withstand the test of time, with an emphasis on building up talent gradually, respecting long-term narratives, and ensuring that the company's core values remain intact. This approach doesn't always produce immediate dramatic results, but it is designed to pay off in the long run. For Triple H, slow and steady wins the race, even if the WWE universe doesn't always understand or appreciate the pacing. The importance of long-term planning. The decision to resist major changes after WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 can also be seen as a reflection of Triple H's commitment to long-term planning. The Elimination Chamber event, like many of WWE's pay-per-views, was designed to build towards something bigger, specifically WrestleMania. In the world of professional wrestling, it is common for creative teams to play the long game, gradually building up rivalries and storylines that will culminate in larger events. This was especially true after Elimination Chamber 2025, as Triple H had already mapped out several key rivalries that would carry through to WrestleMania. For instance, Roman Reigns' victory at the Elimination Chamber may have been seen by some as a predictable or uninspired choice, but it fit into the broader narrative that Triple H had been carefully constructing. Reigns was positioned as the dominant champion heading into WrestleMania, with his undefeated streak and his position as the top draw of the company being central to the build-up of his next major storyline. Changing course in the aftermath of the Elimination Chamber would have undermined this long-term vision and disrupted the momentum that had been carefully cultivated. Likewise, the results of the women's division matches and the Intercontinental Championship storyline were not designed to be immediate showstoppers, but rather pieces of a larger puzzle that would come together as WrestleMania approached. Triple H's decision to stay the course rather than rush into drastic changes reflects his confidence in the process and his understanding of the wrestling audience. He knows that fans may not always appreciate the intricacies of long-term storytelling, but he trusts that the payoff will eventually come, and that the fans will respond when it does. The fans' perspective. Criticism and backlash. Of course, this decision was not without its share of criticism. Wrestling fans are a passionate and vocal group, and many were disappointed by the outcomes of Elimination Chamber 2025. Some felt that the show lacked the excitement and unpredictability that had defined previous events. Others were frustrated by what they saw as a lack of creative innovation, particularly in the high-profile matches that had been heavily promoted. One of the most vocal criticisms was directed at the perceived stagnation of certain rivalries. Fans were quick to point out that WWE's storylines seemed to be recycling themselves, with little to no advancement in terms of character development or match variety. Roman Reigns, for example, had been involved in a nearly identical storyline for several years, and many felt it was time for a change. Similarly, other top stars like Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre had been locked in repetitive feuds that seemed to offer no real resolution or progression. Triple H's refusal to make immediate changes was seen by some as an unwillingness to adapt to the changing demands of the WWE Universe. In an age where fans have more access to behind-the-scenes information and are more vocal about their preferences, it's not uncommon for wrestling promotions to respond quickly to fan feedback. Yet Triple H remained steadfast, believing that the long-term vision was more important than short-term fan service. The role of tradition and the WWE legacy. Another important factor in Triple H's decision to stick with his creative vision is the role that tradition plays in WWE. The company has built its identity on a rich legacy of storytelling, character development, and larger-than-life personas. Triple H is keenly aware of this legacy, and while he is not averse to change, he also understands the importance of respecting what has come before. In many ways, Triple H sees himself as a guardian of the WWE brand. His refusal to make drastic changes after Elimination Chamber 2025 can be seen as an effort to preserve the company's identity rather than tearing it down in the pursuit of short-term gains. He does not want to follow fleeting trends or pander to the latest social media uproar. Instead, he chooses to honor the traditions that have made WWE the global juggernaut it is today. This, he believes, will ensure that WWE remains a staple in the entertainment world for years to come. Looking ahead, the road to WrestleMania and beyond. Despite the backlash, Triple H's vision for WWE is far from finished. His refusal to make drastic changes in the wake of WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 is simply part of a larger plan that will unfold over the coming months. With WrestleMania on the horizon, WWE fans can expect the culmination of the long-term storylines that Triple H has been building. The decisions made in the aftermath of Elimination Chamber are just stepping stones on the path to the grandest stage of them all. In the end, Triple H's refusal to change course was a calculated move, rooted in his belief that WWE's future lies in its ability to grow and evolve organically. The path may not always be easy, but under Triple H's leadership, WWE is positioned to remain a dominant force in the world of professional wrestling, with a product that honors both its legacy and its future potential. For those who may have doubted his approach, only time will tell whether his vision will pay off. But one thing is clear: Triple H remains steadfast in his commitment to the long-term health and success of WWE, refusing to be swayed by the short-term whims of the fanbase. It is this commitment to the big picture that will ultimately define his legacy as the head of WWE Creative. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.